Welcome back, everybody, to the Color Podcast. I am your host again, Chris. With me today is Alan and Bryson.
Aloha.
What's up, everybody?
Joining us for today is a very hardworking individual who also happens to be from Windward Community College, Renee. How are you, Renee?
Good. How are you guys? Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, thank you for coming by. So, how often do you stay up late for work or school, Renee?
Oh, definitely. When I saw this question, I knew I was going to have a really good answer. And it's every day since I've been 8 years old. I think when I was really young, I started the habit of staying up till 10 every night. And then the habit just never broke. So now on average, I think I fall asleep at about like 2:30 a.m. Not at all good for me, but it's just like a habit that I have not been able to break my entire life.
I
Working on
understand
it.
you.
Yeah, I think Bryson's on the same boat, right?
Yeah, we're on a sinking ship, and it's hard to come off.
The ship is still safe though. It's not the worst thing.
Yeah, we got the holes patched and everything, but yeah, 2 a.m. Yeah, I agree. It's insane, but it's weird to explain to people that, oh yeah, I just sleep only 4 hours a day, you know?
Because you don't even feel the difference. I could never be a morning person unless it's like, staying up until the morning. Then I see like the sunrise, but otherwise I'm never going to see a sunrise ever in my life.
I just had the same conversation with them earlier.
Yeah,
Well,
Alan,
sometimes I'm concerned about you, Bryson.
concerned about
I'm
everybody.
concerned about me too.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of like taking sleeping pills or something like that, or like try it?
I have actually, I have.
I've thought about it, but then I feel like in high school I had this really bad problem of oversleeping, and it could be because of the undersleeping. It just kind of balanced out. So I'm scared that I'm going to take a sleeping pill and then just not wake up anywhere near on time, because I could totally sleep until like 4 p.m. So I feel like if I take one, I'm not going to wake up until like 10 in the evening.
That's exactly my experience when I took sleeping pills. I was like, okay, I'll take these pills and then I'll fall asleep early. But no, I woke up just really late. I went to sleep the same time, just woke up late. That's all it did for me.
There's nothing that can save us, apparently.
You guys got to go therapy.
Me too. One day.
One day, yeah. So Renee, this is your fourth semester in college, or what year are you on now?
It's actually my sixth. Spring 2020, start of the pandemic was meant to be my last, but things kind of got derailed. So I spent an extra year on campus, but ended up being kind of the best thing for me to do because it gave me a year to kind of relax and take easy courses. But I'm in my sixth semester now, technically.
And then this is your last one.
It should be, if all things go well this semester.
Nice. So, are you guys doing graduation? How are you guys planning that out?
I think we had a really good graduation, I think last year, so spring 2020's graduation, where we have, our campus here has a really big roundabout where you can easily drive from the front of campus all the way around the back and to the front again. And so I think they're planning on doing pretty much the exact same thing. They're working out some like small issues with if we're going to have a screen and have like pre-recorded speeches from our chancellor and from me as president, or if we're planning on doing them live. So still kind of working out the details, but I think overall we have a good template so far, and I think a lot of folks are looking forward to having that drive-through graduation again because it was really cute. I didn't get to go last year, but I'm hoping I can be there this year. And I know for you guys are planning your graduation too. How's that going?
We just got our budget approved.
Yeah, everything's approved, so we're just pulling the trigger.
Mm-hmm. It's
Nice.
Have you guys been or heard about how UHL's been doing their digital commencement?
No, I think I heard slightly just from like at UH caucus from the delegates, but I haven't heard too many details about what it's going to be like.
Yeah, so basically we've been working with them too, and it's really interesting how it's like we're trying to see if we can make that a recurring thing so that it can hopefully, in addition to actual commencement, hopefully down the line, we can have each graduate have their own web page on the website, which is really cool. And with the system, they should be able to modify it so that they can put their own quotes and pictures, and hopefully it moves smoothly. We're working on it. We've been working on it for a while now, and we're just glad that everything's approved. So hopefully no hiccups, fingers crossed.
That's good though. I feel like that'd be nice for a lot of people too who might be like entirely online even post-pandemic. I feel like it'd be nice to have their own version of graduation. That's awesome. We might steal that from you guys in a few years. Look out.
So what degree are you graduating with?
I had, when I first came to WCC and I was set to graduate last year, I was planning on majoring in liberal arts just for a regular AA degree, but with a visual arts concentration. So kind of doing like the studio art practices. But then this year, as I'm kind of gearing up to transfer over to UH Manoa, I'm looking at majoring to get my bachelor's in communications with a possible double major in English, but we'll just see how it goes. I think I want to spend that first year at UH Manoa to kind of just settle in and get used to communications first before I kind of pursue taking a bunch of English classes all at once again.
Nice, nice. Not really good at English though.
Me neither.
I would say, you know, you're wrong on that, because you do so many speeches for student caucus.
I think my life motto is definitely like fake it till you make it. So I think just like imitating people who seem to be good at speeches and good at talking has really like helped me, because I think I speak really fast, as you guys can kind of see. So it took a lot of training to learn how to slow down, but still working on it, trying to build that confidence.
Yeah, I have to agree. Speech is like a skill that you have to keep going at it. You have to keep using it as a skill so that it doesn't disappear, or that you can sharpen your ability to speak very well, especially in front of people, right? So it's amazing that you get to do that a lot. So it's really helpful, I'd assume.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm so sorry for the chickens. I can't make them be any quieter.
No, there are
Such a
second,
nice little
second special
second
guest.
speaker,
Yeah.
second guest. There's probably like 5 of them outside waiting to speak. But I think just like how you said, it takes a lot of practice. I've luckily had a lot of opportunities from when I was younger, like even in elementary school, to speak up and like do speeches a lot. But still, again, like you said, never ending skill that has to be like built on.
So how did you get started with student government?
I guess that kind of ties to the last question, where in my elementary school, I guess even before that, my parents had been really, you know, prompting me to like watch the news and see like global leaders and whatnot. And I think that planted a seed in me from very young to want to be a part of change, whether it be global or just in my own school. So when I finally got to like the older ages of being in elementary school and I saw like student government was happening and people could run for it, I like first shot tried to run for it. I actually didn't get elected for 2 years until I was in the 6th grade, and there wasn't even a big position. I was just like a homeroom advisory rep or whatnot, but that was like my first position ever. And it was just really fun, like to go to the conferences and go to the camps and meet other leaders across, you know, like Kaneohe and whatnot. So I guess, yeah, starting very young, from when I was like 12 or whatnot, I got my first position. And then I actually wasn't planning on joining student government when I came to college, because I was like, I'm kind of tired of it. I've been doing it for like 11 years. I want to sleep some more. But then when I had started working on campus as a peer mentor, a lot of pretty much my entire, like all my coworkers a part of peer mentoring were also a part of student government. And they're like, oh, we should come to like a meeting one time, like just see how it is. And I was like, okay. And then I kind of knew that like I wasn't going to be able to escape. So I've been in student government on campus since I think spring of 2019. And then not sadly, luckily became president during the COVID years. So this will be my last time, I think, in student government, at least for a while. Don't know if I'm going to do it when I get to UH Manoa, but I'm lucky to have been a part of it so far.
So you've been a part of basically a leadership role in your school for a very long time. What parts of these roles have gotten you to stay for so long?
I ask myself that like every single day, like why have I never stopped? But I think a part of it is just, you know, knowing I have to be responsible, and that I think I always tell people like as a joke, like, oh, nobody else is going to do it, so I have to do it. But I think that's definitely not the case. It's just kind of something I say. But overall, there is like a huge passion in me to continue to kind of do my civic duty and just to help the world as much as I can. So even though like times happen when I get super tired of it, I think I just get reminded of like, oh, ultimately I'm doing a lot of good. And if I end up leaving this position, I know I've made an impact on people to kind of step up when they need to. So as much as I joke about like, oh, nobody else is going to do it, I know that in my years of serving, I've been able to at least like help some people get interested. So that's the way that I kind of convince myself that it's worth it.
And I agree wholeheartedly. I believe you have made a very big impact on not just us three, just the entire leader system and all the campuses. So thank you.
You guys are gonna make me cry on 1 p.m. on a Friday afternoon.
On a holiday.
On a holiday, but thank you a lot.
No, but seriously, because like almost every meeting, student government meeting I go, you're always there, like, and you're always willing to help, even any other campuses as well.
Like straight up getting emotional. Thank you guys so much. See, that makes it worth it. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Working, guys. We're gonna make her cry. Come on. One more.
I don't think I'm an easy crier, but like it happens, you know, sad movies constantly running in your head to like remind you to it's okay to cry. But I'll try not to. I'm wearing mascara, so it might get messy.
I heard hot sauce is always a good way to cry. So, do you know how important is student involvement to you? I mean, I can see that it's important to you, but you know, why do you think others should try and pursue not just, you know, maybe student government, but being involved in any college campus?
I think definitely student involvement, like how you said, it can be a lot of things. It can be like having a leadership position to even just, you know, like being on campus a bit more, like going to the library, like the ones that I have behind me. I think just being a part of your campus, statistics show that it helps you to like be more influenced to study, like wanting to do more in your degree. But I think beyond that, it's just really, I don't know, socially it's really great because it expands a lot of social opportunities for you, like connecting with staff and faculty members and administration, and then also other leaders who can help to, I feel like we're just constantly inspiring each other. But I think overall, just any form of student involvement, like if it's something small, like just being on campus a bit more to being a leader on student government, I think one of the best benefits of it is just building a lot of skills that I feel like a lot of people, I'm sorry if I cut out a little bit, my internet's a bit slow, but I feel like it helps people build a lot of skills that they wouldn't normally get just in a classroom, or if you're not in school either, you wouldn't really get that working at a normal job, like public speaking and how to facilitate meetings and how to navigate issues and whatnot. I feel like it builds a lot of those skills that people don't really see themselves using and building in life. So I feel like just being on campus a little bit more every single day can introduce you to so many things and so many situations that you wouldn't normally experience. So I always push people to kind of get a little bit more involved, but at the same time, if there's like a lot of restrictions for you where you can't do that, there's things like the Kala podcast and people who are broadcasting things to see what it's like and to see what happens there. So if you can't be a part of it and have hands-on, I think there's a lot of opportunities for people to just witness a bit more, and that involves a lot of student involvement.
I do agree with that. And then a lot of the times too, with a lot of colleges, you know, there's a lot of events that is planned, and most of the purpose, a lot of the purpose of it is just to get involved, and it's to get to know others. So, and then that's a lot of what we try to do at HonCC, is to mostly get people connected with one another and get them to start talking. That's why we like to do a lot of small events instead of just a few big ones, because that involvement, I think, is what really makes the difference in a lot of what you do in life, you know.
Definitely. And I like that you brought up having a lot of small events, because I feel like when it's a big event and it happens like once every blue moon, it does have a lot of impact. But I feel like a lot of folks there appreciate consistency. And if it's something small, it's something that's easy to kind of hop onto and kind of participate in. So I'm always down for having a lot of smaller events too.
Exactly. So with that, you know, what is Windward doing right now with their current events?
So we've actually, and I think I shared about this at caucus a lot, that we've progressively lost members as the semester's gone on, but I think still holding on strong just because of the really strong relationship that we have with our faculty on campus, that as we might lose student leaders, I think there's just a lot of participation that we can always rely on from our teachers and fac staff and whatnot. So we didn't really have anything going on this past fall semester, but this semester, actually just yesterday, we had, I think, one of the best events that we've had, of course, this year, but then in the years I've been a part of Student Gov, which was just a nice little like let's talk about it session that we called it, just to kind of address the recent hate crimes against AAPI folk in the United States. And it was a really, really beautiful session. We're definitely planning on having a few more of those, but it was just for 2 hours. And I feel like we could have talked for like 2 hours on top of that. But over Zoom, we just had open the session to anybody on campus. There was admin there were a bunch of students there, teachers and fac staff, just to have that 2-hour session to just talk about anything relating to what's been happening lately. And it got really emotional. Some people were tearing up, like how I almost am, just to have like this opportunity that they feel like they might not have had before to not only speak up and to share like the grief and to grieve together, but just for a lot of people to listen and to learn about what's happening and learn about these perspectives and learn small fun facts that I feel like a lot of people have missed out on in the media and whatnot. So that's an event that I feel like we're going to have consistently, hopefully until the end of the semester. And even as I'm leaving my position, I hope it carries on for like many years to come, because it really can do a lot for whether it's this current issue or issues that come up in life that are eventually going to come up in life. But on top of that, for this past March, and I think we're planning on bringing it back. Oh no, sorry, this past February, and I hope we're planning on bringing it back for this April. We had this POGO event that I think I shared about before, but POGO, it's P-O-G-O, kind of a play on the words BOGO, where it's buy one, get one, where this one is actually pack one, give one. And so it's dedicated towards taking food that we have on our on-campus food pantry and putting it out for people to just stop by, pack a bag, like a reusable bag that we provided to folks, pack it full of school supplies, food supplies, cleaning materials and whatnot. And you can either pack it to keep it for yourself if your family's in need, or you can pack it to give to another student, to give to a stranger on the street, to give to a teacher and whatnot. And I feel like I really hope we bring that one back. A lot of people did enjoy it because it did a lot of good. We're not really using our budget for much, so I'm glad we were able to spend it on a lot of materials for people to take home and to use for free and not have to worry about it. So I really hope that that is also something that kind of stays consistent. Other than that, it's just POGO, the talk about it sessions, and then having graduation over in May. So not a lot happening, but still at the same time, small things consistently happening.
Yeah, those sounds amazing. Like, I think we're gonna do something a little bit similar with food drives. We're gonna put like boxes around the campus, and then people can put cans, rice if they like, and then people can take it home. So yeah.
It sounds perfect because it's something that anybody can take part in.
And then can I ask how many student leaders do you guys have in your campus?
Very, very small, like a shocking number. I think we started this last fall semester with about like 7 of us, and that's pretty average for all the years I've been a part of SG, but right now we're down to 3. So it's just me, my vice president, and then a brand new senator that we brought on just about like 4 weeks ago, but at the same time, still pushing through and trying to do more. So we're hoping that this coming election season, which I think we're starting in either a few weeks or we're starting in April, will really help us to bring in some people, because after I graduate and after my vice president graduates and leaves, we're kind of scared that there's not going to be anything left. But at the same time, I think I have a lot of hope in the campus that faculty will see the need for student leaders after we're gone and just kind of pull them in, not force them in, but pull in the people who are really passionate to do more.
Yeah, let's see, for us, there's 6 of us, and there's only 3 of us guys for media board, and we're all going to graduate this semester, so we don't really have a successor.
It's scary, but I feel like there's always people beyond us who are going to help out.
True. Speaking of recruitment and retention, what have been other things that are difficult for you guys as student leaders recently and in the past?
I think recently I've had, because we had a lot of people who have shown interest, and I think over time we've just kind of lost them, and it kind of falls on us just because at the timing of them coming onto meetings, we've been really very much like slacking and falling apart on things. I think it's not to talk bad about my school, but I think it's really very much Windward culture that we're easygoing, we're kind of free going, not that we don't care too much, but I think we just have a lot of faith that things are going to work out. And so I think for people who are coming in and seeing that for the first time, it might not translate the best, where it's like, oh, these people are so messy, like they're not going to get anything done. But it's just because we have this culture and this practice that we know things are going to work out. So if details get missed along the way, we know somebody's going to pick it up, and that doesn't really look the best for people who are coming in. So I think that's probably been one of our biggest difficulties recently, of pulling people in, and that we haven't been presenting, I guess, in the best way. But I think other struggles from the other years I've been in SG, I guess just pulling in new people and brand new faces, because even the way that I came in for the first time was coming in from the recommendation of a friend, and everybody else that was on SG at the time were kind of friends of each other. And that's honestly, it's a good thing because it really does build a strong team unit where we all know each other. We don't have to, spend a lot of time on breaking the ice and getting to know each other. But it's kind of the downside that we're not bringing in a lot of new perspectives. So I think that's something that our advisors like always on the lookout for, that when we do bring in new members, we make sure to acclimate them in well. We're bringing in new perspectives and kind of something new and refreshing. So it's just a practice that I think everybody has to get used to and work on a bit more, but it really does help to bring in new perspectives in a nice way. So just kind of working on what that nice way kind of looks like. So still learning and still like in progress.
Yeah, I think bringing in that new perspective is always important in any group. But to me, the hardest part about bringing anyone new is getting them to talk a lot more. You know, so because they're coming into this big group, and then a lot of the times the conversation just goes on, and then they don't know when to just bring up an issue. So I think that's always one of the more bigger issues whenever we try to bring in new people. Um, but then when Bryson came in, we knew him a lot before that, so that never happened with us.
It's definitely tough. I think I definitely understand that like having a lot of conversations that a lot of folks feel like they can't fit into, because this one time we had like a really long meeting and we spent half of it talking about whether eggs were poultry or not. I wasn't a part of it, so I can't like give any details, but I think a lot of folks, because there is kind of that strong unit of people who know each other, it can be a lot hard to, or it can be really hard to break that ice and know when to step in and to speak up, especially if it's something that you have a lot of passion for speaking up about. But and I feel like it's just something that comes with time maybe, but definitely a skill to kind of learn.
So when do eggs become poultry?
Like past like the fetal stage, I have no idea.
I think we had a conversation similar to that before on sunny side eggs and over easy eggs. So we don't know the
What was the
difference.
verdict?
Let's not go there.
Let's not bring it up.
But yeah, honestly, I feel like WCC and HCC, we have like a lot of similarities with our student leaders and all the hardships that we face. So let's look at the bright things. What have been the best things that have come out of this pandemic, you think?
It's a really good question. I think for a lot of folks, and we talked about this in caucus a few times too, where there has been the odd benefit that with things kind of going online, it gave a lot of freedom for students to kind of spend some time with themselves, like not have to worry about getting ready to go to school every day and just kind of worry about like, how do I learn best? Like what works best for me as a student? Is it going to classes every day, or do I actually like being online more? And I feel like that for me, it gave a lot of time and self-reflection time to realize that I really do love online school compared to going onto campus every day, but I still go on the campus for work and whatnot. But I think, and I'm really grateful that a lot of students had that chance, as intense and dramatic as it was for the first few weeks. I think I'm just glad that people now are able to open themselves up to online, because they might have been convincing themselves for the longest time that I could never do online. Like I need to be around people to learn, but they're learning that that might not be the case. And I think they just gotten a lot more options and a lot more freedom when it comes to choosing what it means to be a student for them. So I feel like that's been a really good benefit, at least like academics wise.
I can speak truth on that because this pandemic really showed that I don't like online school. Completely different, right? So I like being on the college. I like being in a classroom with friends, because being in the classroom to me is a lot. Uh, it's a better learning environment, especially because you get to see all the confused faces of everyone. When no one knows what to do, what the answer is, and there's just a lot more things to to do there in the actual classroom, even if it's the same time in the same time. So yeah, I mean, I think it is a great learning experience. I think anytime there's some sort of crisis in anyone's life, whether it's as big as this pandemic or as small as like uh, getting electric shock or something, because it gives you some time to like reflect on what you should and shouldn't do. So, yeah.
Is that a personal experience of having been electrically shocked?
Oh yeah, I've been shocked multiple times.
Are you okay?
I think so.
On the inside, maybe.
Yeah. Just a bit fried. So what is the one thing that you wish you could have done differently during this pandemic?
I think a lot of things that weigh on my mind a lot is just student government and how we kind of had lacked on having those events that I feel like could have really pushed people through over the summer too, and then especially in the fall. But at the same time, I think there wasn't a lot of requests for a lot of events. I like to tell myself to convince myself that it's okay, but I think I really wish that if I could go back in time, I could have pushed for more events that have been happening safely online and virtually, just to give somebody some things for people to look forward to, like the current sessions that we're having and the current pogos that we're having. I feel like it would have been nice to have in the fall semester, but ultimately things work out the way that they're meant to work out. So I feel like now we're able to come back and have these events now with a lot more passion than we would have had in the fall, where it's possible that they would not have come out as great. So that's a nice way to kind of convince myself that if I could go back in time, I would have had more events in the fall semester.
Is there one favorite event throughout your entire time at SG?
I think everybody like a part of SG is going to agree that for the fall 2019 semester, we had a really, really good haunted house. And it was the first haunted house we've had for a long time. And it was just such a fun day. We have this building that we kind of operate out of, but there's this huge conference room that a lot of people use oftentimes. And we had converted it to be like a nice little tunnel through all three conference rooms that leads out to this really scary hallway. And I can't describe it as well because it's been a long time, but it was just so nice. We had a lot of people outside of SG be a part of it, like our theater department, our early college folks, our trio folks on campus, and it just really was a good time. Like the setup, I feel like was probably the best part, more than even the execution, because just putting things together and making each other laugh and kind of scaring each other for Halloween was just a really nice memory. And then the same thing when things were happening, a lot of students had participated that we had never seen before. So I feel like a lot of people on campus appreciated it. And then we as at SG appreciated having like such a good event to kind of, I don't know, just like have a nice Halloween. It was really, really nice.
Dang, we should do a Halloween event.
It's possible. It's safe. You can do it virtually too. Just watch scary movies or whatnot, or jump scare people in Zoom meetings. I feel like you could do it. Just hop in.
During a movie, just start screaming on the Zoom. Yeah.
You should.
You got that down, guys? We should.
Yeah, we do it at meetings also.
Yep. Like meetings with the chancellor.
Spice it up.
Yeah. Start
I
wearing
love
random
doing Zoom
filters.
filters, but I won't do it now. I'll be respectful.
It's okay, we're not recording video.
Oh, I will. No, I'm just kidding. In that case.
Yeah, we just taught our advisor how to use the Zoom filters.
Oh yeah, just yesterday.
Yesterday.
Do they have a favorite one that they use a lot?
I'm not sure. Probably the unicorn one, but
Yeah,
Probably
she
yeah.
liked that one.
Like this one's my favorite because it's like, huh? And for people who don't see the video, imagine, go on Zoom and test it out for yourself.
I like this one. This is the
Oh my gosh.
disease, the sleeping person.
the audience is not gonna understand what is going on.
No, fear of missing out. They're just gonna have to miss out for this one. Use their imagination skills.
Do you have any plans in the near future now that you're about to graduate and head on to UH Manoa?
Definitely getting a lot of sleep over the summer, I would think. I'm still going to be working, which is one sad thing, but I think not having to worry about classes is going to be the best thing I'm looking forward to in the future, at least until fall starts. But I think beyond that, I'm not too sure. I think I want to spend a lot more time exploring the hobbies that I kind of abandoned over the year. Oddly enough, I didn't have any pandemic hobbies to look forward to. So I'm looking for the summer to kind of be my chance, like, oh, I've gotten one of my degrees so far. I can spend some time to kind of reward myself to work more on like music and work more on like arts and comics and whatnot. But we'll see if that happens. Nice little like rejuvenation time.
So when you say comic, you mean reading them or making them?
Maybe both. Probably not making right now because I bought an iPad Pro at like the ending of 2019, and then this past October I stepped on it So now the entire like inner screen is cracked. I can't really see too much. I can still use it kind of, it's just not the best. I don't have it on me, but it's like bent. There's like a really clear V indentation. And it's really like my room had been super messy. This is my excuse for it. I had my iPad in my purse. I put my purse on the floor, which I should not have. And then I was getting out of bed one day, crunched it, and then I didn't notice until like 3 days later. And I found out on the same day that my sister was like moving away. So it was really emotional time to have seen everything kind of falling apart. But it's fun times.
Gosh. Fun times.
And I didn't get the Apple Care, so I can't get it replaced or like
Oh,
repaired or whatnot.
no.
Lesson learned. Don't get an iPad and step on it.
You should get the
Get an
warranty.
iPad.
Get the Apple
Yeah,
Care.
get the warranty.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh
my
yeah, get the
God.
warranty. You're gonna walk out of Best Buy having just purchased it for like $1,000, and you're gonna tell yourself, I don't need the Apple Care. I'll come back another day to get it. And then 2 years are gonna pass by, and you're not gonna get the Apple Care, and they're gonna step on it and not be able to get it repaired.
Mhm.
But you can do that if you want to. It's a fun time.
Advice.
Yeah.
That's good
Yeah.
advice.
Alan, you gotta do that so you get a new phone. Excuse for a new phone.
See, Alan, you have to just put it in your purse and then leave it by your bed and then step on your purse
And I have a
afterwards, Alan.
legitimate
But it's-
excuse.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just let me drive.
You have
over
to make
it.
sure your room is super messy though, so you're not gonna see the purse on the floor.
Oh,
Mhm,
that would be a
mhm.
lot of work for me.
It's okay. My services are about $5 an hour.
Okay.
I'll just ask the little kids.
It'll take 2 minutes.
$5 an hour, but you'll take 2 minutes. 50 cents. Tell us about what you plan to do with when you transfer to Manoa. Like, what's your goal after Manoa?
Honestly, I do not know. I've like talked to a lot of counselors and they're like, you'll figure it out. I was like, oh, will I? But I think ultimately, I know I chose to go into communications because I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room that I can pursue like a lot of the things that I'm passionate about, whether it be publications or if it be like comics and proofreading and copywriting and whatnot. So I think like ideal career, like stable career after graduating would be something in publications where I can proofread things and be like a creative director for like a magazine or for a comic publishing company. But we'll see what ends up happening. I might go into being a counselor, I might go into being a teacher, but I feel like I still convincing myself that I still have a lot of room to figure it out. So for other folks out there who are recently transferring, there's not, it's not the end of the world. You have a lot of time to figure it out. And don't let anybody convince you otherwise that you have to figure things out like in your first semester there. I think there's a lot of time to explore things and to kind of just play around, even though it is kind of costly to play around a bit, but I think it's worth it in the end that you'll graduate with a better understanding of what you want to do if you kind of take those years to understand it more.
It's interesting you mentioned you had an interest in creative media. How come you never joined Media Board?
Because I'm not at HonCC. I should have. If I had transferred to you guys, I'll be right there. I'll be your fourth member.
Or you could be a UH Manoa Media Board.
Oh, I so could. We'll see. We'll see how tired I am after I graduate.
Speaking of comics, what's your favorite comic right now?
Ooh, I would grab it, but it's so far away. I think my favorite, I read a lot more of like web comics, so things on like the Line webtoon platform, if you guys are familiar with it. But I think my favorite printed comic is this series called Saga. Has anybody heard of it? Ideal. So good. Very explicit, so don't read it with your families, but it's a really good family story, I would say. Heartwarming, left on a huge cliffhanger that I'm super mad about because it's been like 2 years or like a year and a half. And I like bought all the printed books. I spent, don't tell my parents, but I spent like about $60 per book to like finish the series. But it's my money. I can spend it on whatever I want to. But I guess my favorite web comics would be this series called Socializing 101. It's just very sweet. It's about this college student who deals a lot with social anxiety, but it's kind of talking about his kind of getting his diagnosis and opening up to treatment. And it's more of like a soft romance story. So I feel like that's my genre, where it's just nice to imagine myself in those scenarios, but never get to experience them. So it's probably my favorite genre of comics to read, but it's really awesome. Definitely recommend it. And I'll stop geeking out now.
Honestly, I've been meaning to start reading Saga. I read like the first few chapters of it. That's the one with the lady with wings and the guy with horns. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's so good. I will gladly lend you the books I have printed out because they're just kind of sitting on my shelf. Finish it. It gets wild.
Mm.
Not to spoil it.
Isn't there like 50 issues or something like that?
I think so.
Is there? Oh wow.
But you can find it on like the apps and whatnot.
Mm.
I know it started, I think like 2012, 13, something like that maybe.
Mm.
I think I read
Yeah,
the first issue and then that's it.
I like to use Webtoon as my main. Yeah. And then one of my old favorite comics, I think it's French. It's called Last Man. And yeah, it's a really good comic. They stopped officially publishing it in English, so I've been using this one guy who's been doing it on his free time. He's been doing God's work and translating it all, and I have to catch up on that. But yeah, it's a great comic.
Translators really are doing God's work.
I know exactly. And it's like they do it for free and no recognition unless you're a reader, and you just have to show your love because it's amazing stuff they do.
So donate to your local comic book translator.
Yeah.
We should have more comic book stores.
You should totally like share lists. They
Yeah.
should.
Because the first,
Mhm.
yeah,
All
the
my money
first time
would
I
go
went
there.
to a comic book store was in the mainland, and that was heaven for me. But then apparently there was one
Like definitely.
by Ward. It's like the small shop. Remember when Ward Village was still there? Yeah, and then
Oh yeah.
I was just so happened to be cruising, and then I looked inside the window and I see a bunch of comics. I'm like, where has this been? And it's just sad because that's when they said they're gonna take down Ward Village.
Yeah, there's so very few comic stores in Hawaii. It's sad.
At least a lot of them are going to like online print. So if you can't find
True.
like the physical one, you can still find it somewhere online. And that's sustainable, but it's like not the same as like holding the book in your hand
I know.
and getting it wet with like your tears because you're crying over the story and stuff.
Making a collection is always the best way. Yeah.
Yes. I bought a bookshelf just to make a collection.
Mm.
It's not at all full.
Can't do that. I read too much manga.
I prefer the ebook. Sorry. I mean, I like
Nothing wrong.
I mean,
nothing
I like
wrong.
reading and all, but I like to work on a lot of other projects, like my woodworking projects. So, and sometimes I'll listen to music, but then sometimes I want to listen to an ebook. So,
And I want to ask, like, what do you guys usually get up to? But don't jump in line.
I don't know. Nothing much. Recently, I just recently reached my first ever typing goal. Yeah, so that was one of the few hobbies I ever picked up during the pandemic, was trying to improve my typing skills. And these two know about it because I do it all the
Yeah.
time, like at work. I just pull up my typing website that I like to use, and then I just keep typing. And I don't know if it annoys them or not, but
No, because
I
your
do it at
keyboard,
least 10 minutes
you
a
got a new
day.
keyboard, so it sounds
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I got a new keyboard.
It's like the
It's
mechanical keyboards that make
it's a
like so
mechanical
much noise.
keyboard. Yes, I modded it, you know. I did the stuff, made it sound nicer, so it's more appealing, you know, and it's
It's
a little
therapeutic.
softer. Maybe one day yeah, it is therapeutic. Maybe I'll switch the switches to more silent switches one day, but you know.
Nah, make them louder.
No, I hate that. I don't honestly hate that.
like a
Be
typewriter.
kicked off.
Like every 20 words, it makes a ding sound. Yeah.
Oh heck no. It just makes a separate ding sound. I include a speaker. I build a speaker into it.
Yeah.
It just screams.
Every time you hit enter
No.
or something, yeah, you gotta put it in.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you guys? What have you guys been up to, huh?
I talked about it earlier. I'm doing my woodworking books and my ebooks. Yeah. No, I this spring I spent most of the time cleaning out all my tools, because years ago, back in high school, when I won some tools, and I still haven't opened a bunch of them, so I just spent this spring trying to get them all up and then see what I actually have. I have a lot of tools actually. I could probably sell most of them because I'm never gonna use them, but I feel like I might keep it uh, and then build myself a tool shed, he shed, she shed. I don't know.
Both?
Tool house.
Volcano
She
loves
sure.
those?
Yeah, you got it.
I don't know if I have enough space.
Tell me some.
Yeah, me too.
So just, yeah.
I just been during the break. I just got back into anime, so I watched this movie called Noni Kuni, which is based on a video game, and Studio Ghibli also did the animations for the video game and the movie itself. So it was a nice story. And then I watched. I got back into watching this anime series called Yashihime, which is a spin-off of Inuyasha, which basically follows their kids. So that was nice. That's it. Because before the break, I haven't had time to watch any movies or animes because that's what I like to do on my pastime.
I didn't know
Understandable.
there's an Inuyasha spinoff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen a few
That's
episodes.
literally
It's
the
pretty good.
reason. That sounds good. That's literally the reason why I stayed up till like 10 when I was a child to watch Inuyasha. And it ruined my entire life, but I'm really grateful to it.
yeah. I was
Started.
yeah. Well, I think Monday, Netflix put some Inuyasha movies, and I just put it on while I was in class.
Oh gosh.
It's okay. I followed the book, so I'm ahead.
Valid. We won't tell your teacher.
So Renee, any final words, thoughts, announcements that you'd like to share to Windward CC, HCC, or just students anywhere?
Do I have anything I want to say to the folks? I mean, follow me on Instagram if you can find me on Instagram. It's at nemimu on Instagram.com. But other than that, I think just thanks to everybody for having me today and just for sticking through the pandemic in the way that we have. I think having leadership during this time is probably the most critical thing because helps us to find something to do and then also helps the campus to have a student body to kind of rely on for a lot of the big things like policies and events and whatnot. So we're all doing really good work. And I just hope that you guys never forget that because it can at times feel like it's not worth it. But ultimately, we're doing a lot of good, like how we talked about at the beginning. So grateful to you guys for sticking through with it and having things like this podcast and reaching out to people and just bringing in a lot of good work for the communities and for the campuses. But I think to our schools, thank you for being awesome and giving us a great few years of us being able to learn what we want to and learn how we want to and giving us a lot of freedom for our degrees. I'm sad to be graduating. And I'm sure you guys are probably hopefully maybe a little bit sad about graduating too. But I think ultimately we've done a lot of good during our years here. So
We're
I'm grateful
to
to
you
you
too,
guys.
and you know what? I'm not sad. I'm ecstatic.
Could not be more overjoyed about
School.
leaving. Don't tell my chancellor that. Awesome, but nice to see you guys, and hopefully we can chat some more soon. I'll see you guys at the caucus meetings, and good luck with
Our
your
pleasure.
future
And
podcast
hey, if you want to hop
sessions.
on as a guest again, we can totally do it. You know.
I am so down. I have so much free time.
We wish we have that.
Oh no.
Just forget your responsibilities for a bit. It opens up your entire schedule.
I'll try that someday. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll help you.
Nice.
Delete that.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you.
See you again.
Have a nice one. Stay safe.
You too.
You too.
Thank you guys again for listening to the Kala podcast. Just a few reminders before heading out. Whenever you guys are coming to campus, make sure to use Lumicite. You guys can use the online version at uh.campus.lumicite.com or download the free apps, both available on Android and Apple. Make sure you guys wear a mask whenever you guys are on campus. And if you guys need more information on campus updates and available services, make sure to visit honolulu.hawaii.edu/COVID-19 services. Registration is almost here for spring and summer, guys. Make sure to schedule an appointment with your counselor if you need help with signing up for classes or if you have any questions whatsoever. Make sure to use Star Balance to make an appointment at www.star.hawaii.edu/appointments.
The Student Media Board is hiring outbound campus media like the campus newspaper, art magazine, or this very podcast you're listening to. We're looking for website operators, graphic designers, video editors, and magazine editors. You can apply now by emailing hgcsmb@hawaii.edu.
Attention out there for all you creatives. Be on the lookout. The Spring 2021 Art and Soul magazine is in the works. Submissions for the magazine have since been closed, but don't fret. You can still view and submit your very own work on the Art and Soul website at honolulu.hawaii.edu/artandsoul/.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram to be in the loop for more HonCC events at HonCC_SLD and HCC:news. Make sure to visit thekala.net for more HonCC news. Thank you guys again for listening to the Kala podcast. You guys can listen to more episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Anchor. New episodes are out every Monday. Thank you guys again. See you next time.